The Lackawanna County Public Safety Center is about 5 miles away from the Scranton State School for the Deaf, so they are very aware of that community. But with approximately 28 million Americans coping with the challenges of hearing loss, emergency responders across the country need to be aware of them too. It doesn't take long to figure out how different emergencies in our world would be if we couldn't hear. The stark contrast between a hearing and non-hearing world is one that needs to be addressed by emergency responders. And it is, in an ongoing training course administered by the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, Training and Exercise Integration. Taking the first steps to disaster preparedness is geared towards the deaf and hard of hearing community and emergency responders.
Well, first of all, with the first responders, they needed to first recognize who's deaf and have like an open communication with language for them.
I have in the past, I've been dispatched to areas that were being flooded. And pretty much what you do is you drive through the streets in that particular area with your siren on and you're talking on your blowhorn. And up until today, I never thought about the non-hearing community who was living in there, you know what I mean? So I think it's a valuable lesson for me.
If we have some kind of disaster, how can we protect the deaf and hard of hearing people?
Andy Perlman is a firefighter with the Montgomery Township Fire Department in Pennsylvania. He's one of the course instructors for CEPIN, the Community Emergency Preparedness Information Network.
The goal of the course is to make both communities aware of the other's challenges, concerns, and requirements. Make both communities aware that involvement of the consumers, and when I say consumers, I mean the deaf and hard of hearing, their involvement in emergency planning and preparedness is crucial.
There are multiple hearing accommodations so that everything Andy and the other instructors say is relayed in a way that caters to the deaf and hard of hearing. A system in the room helps amplify sound, which can better be picked up by hearing aids. Stenographers type every word that is then displayed on a screen in the front of the room, thereby captioning all conversations in real time and word for word. And interpreters translate the comments, questions, and concerns for the deaf and hard of hearing. One of the biggest assignments during the two-day course divides the class into several groups. They work on scenario solutions.
The purpose of it is to give some ideas for the people, our audience, to understand what each other's role is, what each other would do.
Let's come up with an example first so we know what we're talking about.
Donna Vidler is a deaf citizen. While she and her group come up with ideas on how to tackle a crisis situation, others are doing the same thing, like the group led by Tom Schaefer with the Independent Living Center in Scranton.
From the first responders, and what we got from them was like we learned how that we can integrate and work together.
It's got me to the point where I can hopefully follow up and implement some kind of procedure with our department in the future that'll include the non-hearing community.
I think it's important for the deaf culture to understand that it's a two-way street, and any way that we can help other people to help us is a great thing.
In an emergency situation, responders don't have to climb mountains or jump through hoops to be prepared. They just have to have a plan, one that includes their deaf and hard of hearing community, so that when disaster strikes, there won't be dangerous delays in emergency response.